What's going on? We are here with our review for Superman Secret Origin. It is a 6-issue miniseries written by Jeff Johns, illustrated by Gary Frank with John Sibal and Brad Anderson. We're going to do it a little bit differently this time. I'm not actually going to be on camera like we were for the other ones. I'm just shooting this intro, and we're going to go to voiceover so the audio quality is a little bit better. And I'm going to just try it out. Hopefully it works out better. If you like it better, do let me know, because if it works out better for whoever's going to watch it, I'll certainly do it that way. As you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, I loved Superman Secret Origin. Just this past Tuesday when it got here from Amazon was the first time I ever read it. Yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and talk too long, but I will see you guys in the next video. You won't see me for the rest of this one. I hope you enjoy the voiceover, and let's get into it. We all know the origin story of the Man of Tomorrow. It's a tale much like those of the ancient Greek gods that will live on longer than anybody who ever watches this video, or anybody who ever doesn't watch this video. Parents from a dying world send their only child to a new world in hopes that maybe he can live a better life, much like immigrants in our modern society. But what is it about this specific iteration of the story that makes it the best version? It's the fact that it completely skips over everything that we already know about how he gets to Smallville, Kansas. Jeff Johns knows that we all know all of this, so why waste our time telling it to us again? He dumps us right into Clark as an early teenager, the absolute best era of life to tell any origin story for any character, because that's where we as real people became who we are, or at least begin to become who we're going to be. It puts us into an immediate state of remembering what we were like at that age, even though none of us had to deal with flight or developing heat vision or breaking our friend's arms because he just ran into us. We can all remember that first rush of adrenaline, the first time we kissed a boy or a girl at that age. Naturally, and the natural changes that we're going through that only make it spike that much more. Putting this up on a super scale of getting all of the powers of Superman is an excellent way to kick off the story and show us just how human Kal-El is. Even though all of us that are reading this and buying this book and watching this video, we're all already fans of Superman, or at least have a little bit of interest in comic books, Jeff Johns immediately starts to endear him to us in this story better than any other interpretation of Superman has ever done. The Legion of Superheroes make an appearance in this, and it's just pure fun to read. Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl just wanted to go back and meet their idol, something that basically all of us would want to do. The idea that Clark starts to wear his suit under his clothes because of those three is a really, really brilliant idea. Like, we see him in this story. We know that he loves Lana, and he's pretty close to Pete Ross too. But in this, the Legion are the first people that he's ever encountered in his entire life that he can actually relate to. So having him put this uncomfortable suit that to this point in the story he's just hated, but wear it under his clothes all the time so he can be ready to be around these people, is what every single kid in that situation would do at that age. I would have done it in a heartbeat, and is one of the best moments of characterization and friendship that you actually see in this story. Drawing Clark as Christopher Reeve was a fantastic idea. He's the most iconic version of this character, comic books included. He made all of us believe that a man could fly in 1978, believe in the best of humanity for a better world. Exactly what Superman should be, and exactly what Superman does in this story. There's a scene in the beginning of issue 3. It's Clark's first day in Metropolis, and he's walking down the street just in awe of these buildings that he's never seen before. He's looking up like most tourists do until he runs into a woman on the street, and she starts to scold him for not paying attention and he doesn't let him help her pick her bag up, and she exclaims that people in Metropolis have much better things to do than to be looking up at buildings, painting the picture that Metropolis is not this bright, happy place. It's a cold and dark, Gotham-esque city. And then, after Superman appears and saves the day, towards the end of the story, the exact scene happens again. And it's the exact same woman, only this time she accepts the help, because she too is looking up at the sky, and looking just for one small glimpse of the man that inspired change for an entire city, a man who gave hope to a city that had long lost any sense of the world, the Superman. In the first 2 pages we see Jimmy Olsen. Not a single person calls him by his actual name. We learn that he's not getting paid, and he isn't actually getting the school credit he's supposed to, because he's not even in school. We all immediately see him as a kind-hearted, down-to-earth, lovable loser before we see him do anything at all. The only person on the staff in the entire building that is immediately kind to him is Clark, offering help, taking enough interest to notice immediately that he's a photographer and actually calling him by his name. And Jimmy immediately buys in, because never once in his entire life has he been treated as a person before, not even by his own parents. He's never had any friends. He just had a passion and a dream that he wanted to chase. He's in a situation where most of us in life would be down, depressed, and just want to give up. But we see Jimmy Olsen here is trying to make the most of his situation. We see him get down only one time in this story. He's standing up on the roof when he meets Superman. We see, and he tells us that his life in Yonkers, New York was a lonely one, and that his family never believed in him, and he has to work really hard just to keep his faith in himself. Damn, who can't relate to this feeling? Who can look at Jimmy Olsen here in this one scene and not see themselves like a mirror reflection? A young kid looking to make a name for himself and find a place in this big world all on his own against all odds. And Metropolis at this point, it almost broke Jimmy Olsen. And Superman's first step in inspiring hope is just listening to Jimmy Olsen and telling him that he has a friend, that Superman is his friend, and that Jimmy Olsen is Superman's only friend. And the first step into inspiring change and hope in all of Metropolis was to just give that one hope to a young Jimmy Olsen and pose for one picture. And as he posed for one picture on top of one building in one moment, he changed the world forever. In this story, Lois Lane is driven. She's strong and independent and cares about the truth. The first time we actually see her on screen, she's literally arguing with Perry White about truth. But more importantly than that, this is the first time Clark sees her. The first time he hears truth, justice, and the American way is coming out of Lois Lane's mouth. And I think this is the reason that right there, that's why Clark falls in love with Lois almost immediately. Because he sees her as this absolute best person in the world, a beacon for what humanity is and what humanity could be. This one person who's just not afraid to take on the insurmountable power of Lex Luthor and do the right thing. She's what inspires Superman. The first 3 things Clark hears from Lois are about stopping Lex Luthor, fixing a city's failed infrastructure, and exposing the corruption of young girls who are being taught to apply makeup before they're taught to read. Clark sees this, and he sees somebody who inspires him. And in turn, he thinks he can do the same. Lois is another allegory for Metropolis. You see, Perry White calls her out for trying to tear down and expose every bad thing in the world. She, by every meaning of the word in the beginning of the story, is a cynical person. Until Superman saves her from falling at LexCorp, much like Superman the movie. When she writes her first story about him, Perry questions it, saying he doesn't even know if she wrote it because there's not a negative word in the article. Once again, you see this theme where Clark inspires change in just one person. And in doing so, he changed the city for the better on a scale that he or anybody else could never imagine. It's nearly immeasurable. The little details are what make any Superman story great. The minutiae of the relationships between him and his closest friends are what tell the story. Superman doesn't set out to save the planet in the story. All he does is he wants to help people. After he saves Lana in the beginning, he just can't get enough, and he carries that with him for the rest of his life. And through helping people, you can visibly see the changes he makes in Metropolis. The LexCorp crowd gets smaller, the city gets a little bit brighter, the graffiti on the face of the Daily Planet is gone, the homeless people that are sleeping on the streets aren't there anymore. But not because of Superman being this godlike figure. It's all because he's just a man, doing the right thing and not asking for anything in return. It's shown perfectly whenever he catches Lois in the helicopter. Again, just like Superman the movie. When she asks for his name, he won't give it. He wouldn't even accept the recognition for that. He just simply responds, "I'm just someone who wants to help." Delivering the message that all of us can be the change that we want to see in the world. All we have to do is do the right thing whenever we can. By doing that, we can make our world, our Metropolis, a better and a brighter world. I want to thank you for watching if you got it to this far. I hope you enjoyed listening and seeing and watching this as much as I enjoyed writing it and making it. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.